Hi, my name's Emma, and I never liked being the center of attention until I decided to make myself the focal point of the whole world. And now, my life is completely unraveling. I've been in love with photography for as long as I can remember. The quiet stories they tell, the raw honesty captured in a single shot. Plus, it keeps me behind the lens, far away from the spotlight. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Spoiled rich girl buys a fancy camera and takes cute pictures of her fancy life. But that's not the case. Sure, my dad is one of the wealthiest people in town, but you'd never know it from the way he treats me. He's never bought me a designer bag or taken me to a fancy dinner. In fact, he's never even given me a birthday gift. He's more interested in his wealthy clients than in his own daughter. And this camera? Not from him. It was a gift from my best friend, Holly's mom, Mrs. Finch. Mrs. Finch, or as I always called her, Regina, was like the mother I never had. My mom left when I was little, and I'm pretty sure that's when my dad's heart froze solid. By the time I was old enough to notice, he was a man who lived for work and nothing else. Photography's a waste of time, he'd tell me. How do you plan on making a living with that? But I couldn't help it. I spent every moment I could with Holly and Regina. They didn't have much, but their home always felt like the only place where I could truly breathe. Then, everything changed. Regina got sick. She could barely work, and her medical bills piled up. I tried asking my dad for help, but that was like asking him for a unicorn. His response? You want money? Go earn it, just like I did. I hated the guilt that gnawed at me. I was living at Holly's, but I never contributed anything, not even a penny. I even offered to sell my camera, but Regina refused. You've already given us so much, she told me. You don't owe us anything. Just when I thought all hope was lost, Holly found an ad from the luxury brand Floral, calling for photography submissions for their Be Real campaign. The winner would get a massive cash prize. I wasn't even sure it was worth trying, but being real is what I do. My dad is a living example of how not to live a real life. I spent hours photographing the world around me. A couple laughing in a park, a homeless man resting by a graffiti-covered wall, the crumbling edges of old buildings. And I submitted the photos. 3 days later, I was waiting at my computer, heart-hammering, when I saw it. My photos, front and center on Floral's homepage. But there was no email, no congratulations, no acknowledgement. I dug deeper and saw it. Someone else was taking credit for my work. Kylie Devereaux, the niece of Floral's CEO. A scam. I couldn't tell Regina. I was too ashamed. So, I went to school the next day, heart heavy with disappointment. That's when I saw Ethan. Now, usually, I would just blend into the background. Ethan was the guy with the perfect hair and a brain full of smart things to say, while I was the shy girl in the corner staring at my shoes. But this time, Ethan walked right up to me. Hey, you're Emma, right? Yeah. Cool. So, I'm Ethan, the editor of the school paper. I saw some of your photos and they're awesome. We need a photographer for an upcoming story. Only problem is, we don't have a story yet. I laughed, unsure if he was joking. Yeah, well, we did have a missing fish in biology, but it's not exactly front-page news. Under the weight of my frustrations, I just blurted everything out. I told him about Holly, Regina, the Be Real campaign, and Kylie. And to my shock, Ethan actually got angry. He was furious on my behalf. Are you kidding me? That's messed up, he said. I'm writing this up for the paper. And that's when everything started to shift. Ethan was on my side. We set out to investigate Kylie. As a budding journalist, Ethan knew exactly where to look, and we found her address. We hopped into his car, and I felt a surge of confidence I hadn't had in years. We arrived at Kylie's house, and I was practically ready to confront her. But when she answered the door, something was off. She looked tired, worn out, maybe even a little kind. Can I help you? She asked. I'm Ethan, and this is Emma. We're from the school newspaper, and we have a few questions. Oh, sure. Kylie immediately straightened up, the fake smile sliding into place. But I'm not interested in doing a big interview right now. Then, as if by magic, she transformed into every high school stereotype I'd ever despised. You should have an editor teach you how to conduct an interview, she sneered. That was it, I snapped. Actually, no. I'm Emma, and you stole my photos for the floral competition. I want them back. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. Your photos? Seriously? Kylie scoffed. You have no idea what I've done to get here. I'm a graduate of Willow Ridge Arts Academy. I've been in the industry for years. I felt my face flush. Ethan didn't hold back. You're a fraud. You're stealing other people's work and claiming it as your own. That's disgusting. Ethan and I left her house, and I was madder than I'd ever been in my life. But Ethan drove me home and, somehow, made everything feel a little better. We started talking, really talking, for the first time. I learned about his own struggles with his father. It turns out, Ethan's dad had been scammed by a con artist when Ethan was younger and never really came back into his life. It wasn't long before I was helping him write the article for the paper. we spent our class time secretly messaging each other, tweaking and improving our piece. The day my dad came home, I tried to talk to him. I showed him one of my photos, hoping he might actually listen. "Dad, look! I think this turned out really well." He barely glanced at it. "Still wasting your time on that camera?" I swallowed, heart sinking. "Regina's sick, Dad. She really needs help. Do you think you could—" "You want my help? Work for it, Emma. You think I'm just going to hand you money?" I froze. I didn't know what to say. I was about to turn and leave when the doorbell rang. "You must be Ethan." Dad's voice was cold as he gestured for Ethan to come inside. Ethan and I exchanged awkward glances. I could feel the tension building in the room, but I just wanted to escape. Ethan noticed, though, and he made me laugh with one of his random jokes. It was the first time in a while I'd felt like I wasn't trapped in my dad's world. After that, I took a step back. I realized that, despite the losses, I still had people who cared about me. Regina, Holly, Ethan, and I wasn't going to let Kylie or anyone else take that from me. Finally, the floral Q&A arrived, and Ethan and I had a plan. We had to expose Kylie for the fraud she was. When the event began and Kylie took the stage, she was all smiles, lying about her inspiration for her photos. That's when I couldn't hold back anymore. I raised my hand and the whole room turned to me. "Your photos, Kylie, they look fake, and that's exactly what you are." Kylie froze, her expression cracking. And that's when Ethan clicked the button, the email. The one with the evidence that I was the true winner? The room went silent as Kylie's face turned redder than a tomato. Then she broke. I stole the photos because I just wanted my dad to notice me, to love me like he does his stupid trophies." And then, just like that, she ran off stage, crying, while I stood there holding the Be Real trophy in my hands. I wasn't the shy girl behind the lens anymore. This was my moment. And from that day on, my life started changing. Floral gave me the real prize. My photos were everywhere. Scholarships came in, including one to the Brightwood Journalism Institute. And to top it all off, when I got home, I found my dad sitting at his desk with my photo framed right next to his laptop. "Not bad, kid," he said, barely making eye contact, but that was enough for me. I knew then that I had finally seen the world the way I wanted to. Real.